Now we're down to model number 3, which, as far as I'm concerned, was an accidental thing that just came into my world, but it is an amazing thing. So at this point, I will just say to you that the school district, Memphis City Schools, made some decisions to do some university partnerships, and at that time, Memphis did not have a choral music ed person. And so they agreed to hire me because at that time, planes actually flew, and I could get a direct flight and be there on Friday afternoon and Saturday morning. So the ideal person is a local choral music ed person in your university or someone who cares about that. But they had to fly it in. But my role there would just be the university representative. So from the research literature, let me just say this. Schools that are in large cities, and what about smaller towns that have one school that looks like urban? It's the same challenge, isn't it? And rural areas have the same challenge. Schools that are not functioning well, they depend on less prepared, underqualified teachers. Let me say that again. Schools that are not very good have less prepared, underqualified teachers. And if we want to change that, there's plenty of research that says one-shot, short-term interventions don't fix it. Now, what would that be? I'd say we're at a one-shot, short-term intervention right now. We're at National ACDA. You are here because you're already good. You have a knowledge base, you have skills, and if you come to something and hear it once, you can write it down and go, oh great, I'm going to go home and try that. Makes perfect sense. It relates to what I'm doing with blah, 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 whatever. People who are overwhelmed, not trained, they don't even have a big picture or a taxonomy. Just hearing 1,000 things they need to go home and do does nothing. They have boatloads of research on that in urban education. Having a district in service where people go 2 or 3 times a year will not improve the teachers in a low-achieving school. It will not. Going to your state conference, it's a great place to get repertoire, it's a great place to get new ideas. If you have some taxonomy to hang it on to, if you're an unlicensed teacher trying desperately to survive, that won't help you. By the time you get home, that's so gone because someone just pulled out a knife or whatever happened. There are too many variables. So the only solution to this, says the research literature in urban education, is retraining and retooling. And that's what Memphis did by buying into 3 years that turned into 5. You see, I have a trend of not quite meeting my timelines. It took 5, we thought it would take 3. It takes long-term opportunities with lots of reinforcement. And basically, any teacher, any university that's preparing music ed students, they are, by accreditation, required to have students who are prepared to teach all kinds of kids, all kinds of settings. So Nicole Robinson, who is not choral, she's general music, but she jumped on board with this with Jim because she has to graduate kids, as do all of us in every school, that can teach in urban environments. What better way to learn that than to have a partnership with the urban schools instead of spend your time looking for the good schools where kids can go make the choir sound good. I do want kids to make the choir sound good. That's my end. I never lose sight of that. We don't need at-risk kids to walk out and be terrible yet again. They already know how to do that very well. It needs to be good. So we want them to know how to do that. Yes?
One of the other parts of the trend where Dr. Bowers is right now is that large urban districts like ours tend to hire math, English, science teachers, social studies teachers first. We hire the arts teachers last. So we're always getting into June and July. And what do you have? You have primarily performance makers who can't find a job and they decide that they'll teach for a while. So they do not have license, they do not have the education part of the skills. They know how to use the mechanics really well. So we had a large contingent of those kinds of teachers. And teachers, frankly, that came from schools who did not teach their choral music education classes very well. So it was either sink or swim. So we chose to swim.
Try to swim instead of die immediately. Okay. So what is it that we do with this retooling? For me, it's my exact undergraduate curriculum. The teachers in Memphis across 3 years got every single thing that I focus on. What would that be? Well, for middle school, changing voice. Lon and I had another moment to chat, and we just put our heads together and solved about people still don't understand ranges for middle school. Any child that has graduated from my class, and I see some of them here, they know that if they're not sure what the answer is in my class, take a guess and say range. You're probably right. because that's how important that is. We talk about range of the changing voice. We talk about singing harmony independently. Kids can't do that. That's why people cave in and do SAB music, which does not work well for middle school kids. It does not work well for middle school kids. Oh, I'll say it again, it does not work well for middle school kids. But the reason we get desperate, and especially people who are not certified and not trained, you get so desperate to hang on to a harmony part. We all do that in churches. I could always attract a lot of singers. I could find the greatest tenors, but they all sang soprano down the octave. And I appreciated that, but God wanted them on the harmony. I was very shocked. So I do understand the frustration that drives you to it, but we need, and I call that the literature hierarchy, and my students understand it. Just as elementary teachers do, they sing a melody, they add an ostinato, they do partners, blah, 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 blah. There's like 9 steps, things that they do. Solfege training, that's what undergraduates need to do. So that's what these teachers in Memphis needed to do. They're like, my hand doesn't do that. Some were mad, they just kept their hand down. We won't say their names, but some were mad. No, not doing it. Yes, you are. Get your hand up. So, solfege training, putting that into a system of sight reading. I've moved in the direction of having a lot of performance rules for expressive singing. What it really means is teach for transfer. You and I know that. Creativity. I use a direct instruction teaching model to be sure that they don't talk too much, that there's academic content, and I focus a lot on what kind of feedback they give. All of that helps with pacing, prevents classroom management. That stuff is my undergraduate curriculum. That's what teachers need when they are retooled, retrained, etc. Creativity, basically anything that's the national standards. So the kids at the university had no music ed person in choral, if you recall, that was me. So I taught 3-hour classes at night for them when I was in town. And they would learn the same things. What's the value of this? When they learn something up there at the university, from me or whomever it might be, some of these teachers in middle school Memphis that were lead teachers also came up and added some teaching to the methods class. So we were all sharing the same vocabulary, talking about the same thing. Now, does it have to be the way that I would do it? No. How would you train a teacher? What do you want somebody to know? Well, that's what you would teach the teachers that you're retraining. I just do my flavor. There's lots of ways to train a teacher. So whatever it is that we're doing at the university, when we go out to the school, they're talking about the same thing. And they don't say stupid stuff that if I hear it again, I'm just going to die. Well, you can't really learn how to teach, you just get out there and die. Well, that was true about 30 years ago, but that is not true today. We know a lot more than that about teaching. We know a lot more than that about teaching. And our kids deserve to know it. So they get the same training that the teachers were getting as we were retooled. So it's common ground. And they get reinforced every way that we go. You're going to hear some of the activities and events from the teachers. I will say we did a World Music Day one February, and the university students were involved because this was a time where I was going to spend the day doing the festival that the teachers did not have to prepare yet another set of music. They were supposed to watch some teaching techniques that I had just taught. I was going to do that stuff for them with their kids. We were going to learn a bunch of rote songs, various things. We would, at the same time, we had some northern Mississippi teachers called in to be doing mock solo and ensemble contests. Kids who've never been to solo and ensemble contests it's daunting. They won't go. And their teachers have never taken them. They won't take them. Well, so we did a pretend one. And the kid would go in, well, now the judge will probably say, now sing your song. Well, the judge might say, don't breathe in the middle of a word. Blah, blah, blah. Stuff that's very, very normal that is not normal to people in low-achieving situations. So they were pulling out of our group doing that, and then we'd take a break, and the university kids had pull-out rooms set up, and they would go in groups of 15 or 20 to each room, and those kids would do drumming. They did some step dancing. That was pretty amazing. They did some general music rhythm activities. They did a lot of little mini teaching for an hour, festival kind of teaching. So they have lots of opportunities to support what's going on in middle school Memphis that allows them to have yet another teaching opportunity. The other thing that you need to know is that Dr. Robinson, along with what she teaches in her classes in the way of classroom management, creativity, those kinds of things that are not choral specific, she also had sessions of that running throughout the year so that the middle school Memphis teachers also knew what the kids at the university were learning. Do you see that this partnership is strengthening both areas? Bottom line, including university students and teachers in the same kinds of activities is beneficial to all. The payoff comes when they are doing their field teaching and when they're doing the there's student teaching. You have confident kids who understand the culture because they've been out there doing it. There are many benefits to the university students, and the university students do many benefits to the Memphis teachers. And I know my time is up, but the last thing I'm going to say is one of the things that they did was have some adopted choir kind of rehearsals, and the university kids came and sat in sections and sang with them as they learned their music for some auditions. And once again, that's an opportunity for university kids to be helping them, but they're also learning about how kids behave. So the benefits are huge for both sides. We are now going to